It's the Bob Doyle Show. It's the Bob Doyle Show.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's the Bob Doyle
boys and girls, assuming that I refresh my screen over here and see me, then I am Bob Doyle. Yes, we are on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bob Doyle Show, which is actually working this time. Thank you very much. Yes, we had a little bit of a... Oh, thank you. Even a better crowd. Had a bit of a snafu this morning, didn't we, boys and girls? If that is your real name. Hey, look, I want to apologize, obviously, for this morning's false start. We were supposed to... Well, it was a big deal. It was the Bob Doyle Show premiere on Facebook Live. And it didn't go to Facebook Live until later, oddly. It showed up later. So Facebook Live had a little bit of a this morning. And it wasn't just me. It was everybody who, I guess, who was using their API to get in here and do this. And so it wasn't working. But then it started working a couple of hours after that. And I wasn't here to do it. But see, you got to understand. You have to. By the way, if you're coming in, I gotta find your chat area and your comments and stuff because I need you. So Lynn Rose says looking good, but that's kind of her job. So let's see. We've got a few viewers here. So what I would love, absolutely adore, is if you would say hello. Now I have found that when I'm watching this. If I'm monitoring myself on Facebook, I can't see a picture. It's just black. This happened to me the other day. And then all Facebook Live things showed up as black. So there's some sort of system thing. But I can see that there are people here, and and I love having you here. And of course, the room will fill with people before this is all over. People are just now starting to show up on timelines and such. And which means, by the way, it's time for all of us to do some sharing. Do you feel like you're in a sharing mood? You look like you're in a sharing mood. So all you have to do is do exactly what I'm doing right now, which is click share underneath the video. And I'm going to share this particular broadcast to the Bob Doyle Show page here on Facebook, which is a thing. But it's a thing that not many people know about. But I'm putting it there anyway, except that I can't see the post button. There we go. Now, you guys could do that too. You see, you could share the post on your timeline. So then others can bask in the glow that this is. Yeah, I'll tell you this. I'm very bummed that I can't see the broadcast because my understanding is, and it may not work this way through this system. Now that I'm thinking about it, it probably doesn't. But from what I'm understanding is Facebook Live, at least when you're doing it on your phone, has added what's similar to the hearts that you have in Periscope. So when people click like or love, you see the little things and all of that. There's animation involved. I don't get to see that. That's the cost of upgrading the technology. So anyway, a cool thing there. A lot of our conversation will be about Facebook Live today, but don't worry. We're not going to be all serious. It is the Bob Doyle Show after all, but this is the dawning of a new age. It definitely is in terms of live streaming, live casting, and it's hard to believe to me that here we are only just a little over a year after Periscope came out, and people are already almost saying Periscope who? Because of Facebook Live. And so we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But first I have to, so one of the fun things about Facebook Live is all the technical fun that I can have. I personally can have. It's almost like Facebook had a meeting and they said, how can we make Bob a little bit happier? And they said, well, I guess we could open up the API so he could do whatever he wants. So they did that. Apparently everybody else found out about it too. And now other people are going to do it too. But the thing is I like to fill my programs with all sorts of fun. So here's some fun and if I can have you participate in the fun, that's even more. That's even more. So what we want you to do, we meaning me and, well, I guess it's just me. Obviously I talked about sharing, but here's another fun thing. And I'm talking, wow, is this fun? You all have Twitter, right? It's sitting there, staring you in the face. It's on your phone. It's in another window. What I'd love is for you to share this broadcast on Twitter. How do you do that, Bob? Well, I don't have the perfect answer, but here's what I do have. If you share this, and you can actually just share the bobdoyleshow.com link if you'd like. You could say something along the lines of, having the time of my life listening to the Bob Doyle Show, but hashtag Bob Doyle Show. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write, Bob Doyle Show into the comments, and now I'm seeing people here. Hey, Michael is here. Samyuk, I don't think so. Today is too packed. It's too packed. Look at this. This is my mind map. I do mind maps for my show. That's how you know it's a real show. If I don't care who you're watching. If they're not doing mind maps, not a real show. They're just it's a hobby for them. All right, anyway. How come I see comments going anyway? All right, whatever. So what I want you to do is do that. And why would you do that? Why would you take the time to do that? I'm going to show you why right now, ladies and gentlemen, because if you do share, sorry, that's a little forecast of what I'm about to test out. See this right here? This is a live Twitter feed. Now, right now, I'm the only person on the planet, apparently, who has tweeted anything with hashtag Bob Doyle Show. However, if you tweet with hashtag Bob Doyle Show, guess what happens? It shows up here. It scrolls up. You can see your name in lights. Now, don't get too excited because I do see the message first before I say, okay, put it on there. It doesn't just automatically happen. So you can't just start, trashing me and that kind of stuff and have your little giggles that way. One of the wonderful things I love about Facebook Live is, well, we'll talk about it in just a second. So would somebody do that? Somebody tweet something with hashtag Bob Doyle Show just so you can see and experience the, wow, I saw myself up on the Bob Doyle Show. You are becoming a part of history. I hope you realize what you've landed on here. You probably don't right now. I think what you think is, oh, that Bob Doyle guy, he's playing around and we'll see what happens. Well, that's not how it is. It's actually the dawn of broadcast history. I'm telling you. One day, you're going to remember these shows, these Facebook Live shows, and if you were way back, to last week, the Blab shows. And you're going to be able to say, I was there, I commented, and I have proof because I sent a tweet with hashtag Bob Doyle Show in it, and it showed up on the recording that you can go back in the archives, which by this time will probably be in the Broadcasting Hall of Fame, right? Where they will archive and give lessons on how to say archive, where they will archive all of these broadcast nuggets, right? And so you'll want to be able to say, that was me right there. I was the first one. In fact, who's going to be the first one to tweet with hashtag Bob Doyle Show? Who? Well, the answer is, and I kind of knew it, Dino Mike Z. Now, all he did was hashtag Bob Doyle Show just so he could see this. So there's not going to be any interesting message up here. It's just going to, see, hashtag Bob Doyle Show. But you see how it happened. It did happen automatically. So he could have said, let me remind you again what you could say. Having the life-changing, the most epic, whatever your words are, broadcast experience of my entire existence, whatever you can fit into 140 characters, just get hashtag Bob Doyle Show in there. And then hopefully bobdoyleshow.com or whatever. Hey, Thomas McGuire, I appreciate you, sir, and I'll tell you why. Because when I created this event on my Facebook, which I think in my life I've created a handful of Facebook events on my personal page. You, sir, were the first one to say, I'm thinking about it. Not a full commit right off the bat. Now, hello, Marlo Campbell. Nice to have you here. Where's your what? See, these comments scroll. I have to figure out a way to be able to see. No, I don't want to be full screen. I can't see what I'm doing. Whew, that was close. I don't know how to see this, I can't, because it only sees a few of the comments. That's a little frustrating. All right, so that's one fun trick. Oh, look, someone else, Lynn Rose, of course. So I got Dynamite Z and Lynn, who, pretty much I consider friends. That's right. I don't mean that in a bad way. Not like just friends, Lynn. You know what I mean. I want somebody who has never really, whatever, who's enthusiastic to tweet something to hashtag Bob Doyle Show. I'm sorry I don't have more incentive for you than seeing your name in lights right now. One day you'll get the monumentousness of it. Look, when I'm on show 1628 or whatever random show I say, we're going to go back to show number 14, the one that almost wasn't, and whoever was number 7 wins a prize. Now, by that time, the prize, what is available in the prize bin will be, I don't even know. I know you're just thinking, listen to him, he's trying to be funny. Mark my words. Because when I commit to something, I do not stop until I get there. Most people know me as one of the featured teachers in The Secret, and so I'm a very passionate person when it comes to my vision. And when I click in, I don't unclick. And so actually I truly want this broadcast to be an inspiration to any of you to look at me and go, if he can do it, I can do that. Maybe not all the technical stuff, but putting yourself out there. And that's what I want to talk about, what's so great about Facebook Live and all of that in just a minute, as soon as I finish talking about all the fun technical tricks. Now, here's something I just want to kind of also share with you, because I know that some of you either watching live or watching the replay, see, I've lost your comments again. This is no. So, hey, Vicky, it's good to have you here. So I know I've missed some comments. So I'm really sorry about that. I wish there was a way to expand them, and I will figure it out. Because it's not acceptable to me to not be able to scroll back through the comments, because I know they're all there. Hey, Robert, I see that you have joined, or at least are peeking in, and you can see that it's working. Robert helped me today. When all things crashed and burned, I gotta hand it to Robert. Robert, I don't know how to say your last name. That's why I keep not saying it. Robert and my friend Steven, who works over at Wirecast, to help me keep it together while Facebook was getting their act together, getting this all done. Because we really are at we're riding a wave. We're all riding a wave. All of us here who are broadcasting on Facebook Live, whether it's on your phone or through this new groovy API interface, you're at the beginning. Don't stop. Just keep broadcasting. Just keep getting in front of that camera and keep sharing yourself. And that's kind of what I'm going to get into. And if you've seen any of my other programs, you know that every now and then I'll slip in a message. And they seem to have a predominant and overriding theme of expressing yourself creatively and fully and unapologetically. And that's why I'm doing this show. And that's what I'm hoping you all will. Oh, thank you. No, I didn't. I wasn't asking for that. I was just, okay. Thanks. There is nothing that makes me more sends me right into a fit of unreasonable rage than when I accidentally yank my headphones out of my ears. Can anybody relate to that? It happens to me when I'm washing dishes and I'm listening to something on my headphones and I open a cabinet and it hooks the wire, the handle, and it rips it out of your head. Oh, it just sends me off the chain. Type what URL? Yes, the Twitter subtitle is very awesome, and I see that someone else has joined watching the Bob Doyle Show, and it seems to be in Spanish. And I don't know exactly, something on a good note, something like that, because the something is something good. I don't know. Anyway, you'll see it, and I know it's not anything bad, otherwise I wouldn't put it up there. So, all right, so we've seen this fun technical trick. And I'll keep this up here for a little while, but then it's a little big. And although it kind of blocks the product placement of my shirt. I'm always constantly wearing t-shirts with Salty Dog Cafe, which is what this is, and Life is Good, brand names. And do I get any compensation for that? No, sir. No, ma'am. I don't. All right, let's get back into the fun. So there's one other thing I want to check here, because in addition to broadcasting here on Facebook Live, which clearly I'm doing, and I appreciate you all being a part of it, I am also technically able to broadcast on several other live broadcasting channels as well. And because this is the first one where I'm doing this, guess who gets to watch me test it to make sure it's happening? You. Now look, before you say, well, that's boring, why do I want to watch you test this? Because I want you to think about yourself broadcasting. The main reason of not the Bob Doyle Show in general, but of this one today, is I want you to start thinking about personal broadcasting and the potential for you, not just as a business thing. Okay, I mean, in business, that's great. But also just to share yourself and be who you are. There's a lot of creative people out there, and with the, ladies and gentlemen, right in the middle of freaking everything, Lynn Rose walks in. Do you realize I'm broadcasting? Do you realize this is the Bob Doyle Show? You commented on here. Dynamite Z has, and then right in the middle of everything, you just walk right in. What is your thought process here?
That I'd join you, but I didn't realize you had an old face actor.
Hey, you are going to have to leave if you're going to. Seriously, what is going on here?
Bye.
See,
Well, I
if you
joined
want to
the
be a
line,
guest
but-
on the show, you have to go through
Guess
my
not.
producer and get, a slot, a time slot. All right. Lynn Rose, ladies and gentlemen. I'd love to have her on any other time, but I wasn't ready. Okay. And I was in the middle of something. I was just about to do something. And so I'm now going to do it. We're going to quickly test. Now I don't want you to go to any of these places. I just want to see that it's working. And I want you to see that it's working, because then your little wheels might start a spinning. Because I know there's some of you out there who wouldn't mind being able to do something a little bit like this. Now, all I have to do is find my browser, and there it is. And then I just have to find my little text down here. Okay, the return of the queen.
Watch from the sidelines.
Did you see the matrix effect on the mirror back there? Did anybody see that? It's like it wobbled, like she was about to walk through whatever. All right, so here's what I'm going to do first. We're going to go over here and check. I'm just a regular browser window right here, and now we're going to check out, is it broadcasting live to Ustream? Now let's see what happens and appears on here. Dun, 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 dun. It looks like something's trying, and look,
Right, so
it is. So
I'm going
that
to,
test passed. Isn't that fun? So not only on Facebook, but also on Ustream. Now we're going to check out Twitch, which is another broadcasting network, which is basically mostly aimed at gamers. But this is the Bob Doyle Show game, and we're looking to see that if it's broadcasting over there. Well, I hear it, but I don't see it. And I think it's the same reason I don't see things on Facebook Live. I think there's some sort of an overlay issue. And then finally, we're going to check it out over at YouTube Live. And then we'll be done with the tests. And it does seem to be, if I click on this, I'm guessing.
Broadcasting.
Yep. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, success! Now, come on. Now I got to find your comments again. Video bomb. Oh, yes, I know. All right. Boy, I wish I could. See, I know I'm missing all these comments. But see, I hope, Lynn, if you're watching, I don't take that personally. I was just in the middle of something. I couldn't give you the attention that you so richly deserve. Now would be a good time if you want to come in, and then we can have a little chit chat. And we can even talk about the fact that we are going to also be doing, oh, wait a minute. What am I doing? Sorry. You don't want to see me that big. Why didn't somebody say something? Now I'll never get that job at fill in the network name. Okay. Oh, all right. So the two other things in the announcement geeky category. And just so you know, for history's sake, I'm not always going to keep doing these announcements at the beginning of the show, but let's face facts, folks. Face facts, folks. We're just starting here. We need to be able to get information out. We need to be able to share it. We need to let people know how to share it. And also a little bit about what the show is about and how to be notified and all of these things. So there's a little bit, again, you're here at the beginning. And what may occur to you is, well, this seems unpolished and aimless. It's actually what you're watching is the creation process, you see. I'm inviting you to be a part of it. What I'm really wishing is that I could read your comments. Hello, Jeffrey. Yes, I was small, but now I'm not small anymore. Okay, so one other thing I want to share. Boy, you guys have no idea how many windows I have open right here. All right, over here. Boom, 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 boom. I'm not going to go into great depth about this, but if you go to bobdoyleshow.com, which is the official site of this Bob Doyle Show. Did I mention this was episode 14? I know this is the first time for a lot of you watching this, so you're going, what is this? But that's okay, because I'm asking myself the same questions all the time. So, where was I? Oh, yeah, you can't see it. Unbelievable. Who hired this person? Sorry, that's what it gets from being my own producer. This over here, okay, on the BobDoyleShow.com page. This will allow you to leave me viewer mail. And it doesn't matter what you leave, but you can leave a voice or a video message just by going there, looking for this, clicking it, sending me a recording, and then we have this really fun little segment here on the Bob Doyle Show called Viewer Mail, or at least we will when someone sends me some. We actually did have Dawn send me viewer mail back in the old Blab days. Oh, reminiscing. Week and a half ago. So we know it works, but the hilarity of it will come when you guys get creative and say, I'm going to send him a video. I'm going to see if he'll play this. Don't forget, just a reminder, not that, Twitter feed right here. If you share on Twitter, and if you think about this, and this is probably true too, if you share, when you post on Facebook, if your posts go to Twitter and you put hashtag in there, we might do double duty. That'd be something worth testing maybe. If I post something on my personal page with I'm going to try it. Because, why not? We're going to get into the meat. We're going to get into the meat. You just have to be patient with me. All right, hold on. Now, where am I? Too many cooks spoil the broth. Wow, look at all these people who've come by and said hello. Like Kat Baudino. How are you? Are you out there? That's awesome. And Josh, what is this show about? Because I'm about to ask a million law of attraction questions. Well, Josh, this is not the show. I do that on Wednesdays over at the Bob Doyle LOA page here on Facebook. And I will be using Facebook Live from now on. I was using Facebook Live anyway, but I'll be doing it this way. So you can ask questions on Wednesday related to the law of attraction. You're asking what this show is about? The honest truth is that it's just about me amusing myself and hoping that somebody else is amused at the same time. That's what it's about. At least for now, until I get a little bit more focused. But right now, this is just about fun. And that's what I'm really trying to communicate to all of you, that this whole personal broadcasting thing doesn't have to be this daunting, intimidating thing. Now, I say that, but I was pacing around here like a crazy person before I did this. But it's only because I got so many buttons to push. I've totally gotten into the comfort level. I don't ever get nervous about just doing a Periscope or doing a Facebook Live on my phone. It's only when I got a million windows to coordinate and all of this technology that I get a little, am I going to push the right button? But you people don't have to do all that stuff. You're amused by my humor. I'm amused by your humor too. See, I need people like Michael who get it, right? And Vicky and Marie. Hi, Marie, again in the room. Thanks for coming back. Now, this is the official Bob Doyle Show. So you guys are really clap happy. You don't have to clap every time I say Bob Doyle Show. But it's nice to have you in the audience. So anyway, I was going to leave a comment myself, and I was going to hashtag Bob Doyle Show. Because my personal post on Facebook gets sent over to Twitter. So it'll be interesting to see when it shows up. So I'm listening to my own show. Hashtag Bob Doyle Show. And I'm going to put the URL of this page here, which is facebook.com Bob. No, it's not. Boundless Living. Okay. There you go. Hey, Ryan. Whoops. Boy, what happened? Ryan von der Linden. Is that how you say it, Ryan? Darcy Van Hogue, ladies and gentlemen. The burlesque queen of Texas. All right, that was a little unfair. But a good friend of mine from Austin, Texas. And it's very nice to have you here. Thank you for watching this. And feel free to share this broadcast on your timeline. One of these days, I'm going to orchestrate. Once we have a few people who are real, thank you for sharing, Darcy. Or no, liking. All right, I'll take the like. One of these days, we're going to do a massive timeline bomb. We're going to experiment. Once I get 50 people in here watching at the same time, I'll say, okay, everybody right now, share on your timeline. And those of you who are on board will do that. And that means that this show will appear all over the place. And we'll see how many people we can cram into this little room. Now, there's not a lot of space here, but if you lean up against the wall, we can probably fit, I don't know, 600-700 people. All right. Are there any questions? Okay, so I think that's basically it. I wanted you to do viewer mail. I was going to tell you about notifications, but I think I've geeked you out on tech and links and all that stuff enough. So let's talk a little bit. Good friend of Deb's. Hold on. Wait, Deb's like my daughter Deb. Awesome. More ukulele. Well, okay. See, every now and then the ukulele will slip onto this show, but for the most part. Let's see. My tweet still hasn't showed up over here, but for the most part, I think I've pretty much decided to keep the uke in its own world. It's just too much of an energy break. I mean, unless I had something that was like really matched the energy of what I was talking about on the show. I don't know. I mean, I did it the other day, but not. I did do it the other day. So you never know. I can't say never, because I also said I'd never talk about law of attraction or personal development related things on this show, and I seem to have done it almost every time, at least for the past 3 or 4 times. By the way, if you're just joining us, thank you for just joining us. I am Bob Doyle. I am the host of this program, and although I'm best known for my work in The Secret and teaching the law of attraction, that is not what this show is about. And this show has historically broadcast on blab.im, another broadcast platform that just didn't have the people or the technology to support what this show needs to be this show. And judging from the indicator on my computer, my CPU can barely handle this show because of all I ask it to do. But hey, that is that, and doing a show that got crashed because something. This is all part of being an early adopter, which I have always been and always will be. And that's why when my show crashed this morning or didn't happen on Facebook, I was like, okay, I wasn't even mad. You can ask Lynn. It was like, all right, well, that's, if I'm going to jump on the train this early with all of this API and special stuff, I got to expect that something might break every now and then. But no more. Let that be the only time. Do you hear me, Facebook? I'm kidding. All right, look. So why would you want to broadcast on Facebook Live? How about this? Here's another question. And again, I wish I could see your hearts and likes and stuff, but instead, all I can really see is your comments. Thank you, Jennifer. I saw something that you posted, and I can't. In fact, I was kind of hoping you'd show up today, Jennifer, because I saw something on either your timeline or it showed up on my feed, and it was a quote or it was a something, and I thought, that Jennifer, she's got it right. I can't remember what it was. I popped the icons, don't know where they are. You popped the icons, don't know where they are. I didn't pop anything. What I understand is that if you like something, you're using my earbuds. Yes, I am. It's just too much. It's overkill for this, right? I mean, wearing those big broadcast headphones. I do it for my voiceover scope because I really need to hear quality. I'm sorry, I got way off track, didn't I? What is the track? Oh yes, Facebook Live. So Facebook Live, for those of you who have ever delved into broadcasting personally, whether it's Periscope, Blab, Meerkat, any of that stuff. When that came out about a year ago, and then I heard rumblings about Facebook Live, I was just really kind of getting all excited about Periscope, and I was like, oh, come on, don't throw something else into the mix. Let me just like Periscope, and that's it. But now that Facebook Live is out, it's so clear, folks. If you're not broadcasting on Facebook Live, let's just think about this for a minute. I mean, I love the intimacy of what Periscope is, but for me, and it may not be that way for everybody who is a longtime Periscope broadcaster, for example, and has a very solid tribe who will show up every time they hit broadcast, no matter what, right? And those people are out there. But, if you were ever intermittent or whatever, and then I heard there were various server issues with notifications on Periscope, what was happening with me and Lynn sometimes also is that we would get onto Periscope and there was just really nobody there, and notifications weren't being sent out. People turn off the notifications on their phone because I don't know about you, if you did Periscope, when you first started and you're following people and then it's all day, so you turn off the sound and then it's just this constant stuff and then you just turn off notifications, right? Oh, you put the icons. Oh. How can you send? Well, you just click it. Hold on. Let me. So you click. Where did it go? I'm on the wrong screen. Sorry. See, I got too much going on. You just click these on the BobDoyleShow.com page, and then it'll pop up a little interface where you can decide whether or not you want to leave a voice or a video message, and that's how that works. Okay. All right, let's see. Oh, and look, we got somebody else, and it's not me. So my automatically posted, I should read these, I guess. Watching Bob Doyle, where are you broadcasting from? I'm broadcasting from the studios of the Bob Doyle Show, Fun with Bob and Lynn. There's many, many programs that broadcast out of here. Many. But not thousands. All right. But then, so let's just, so Facebook Live, number one, the reason to do this is where everybody is. Okay, right? People don't hang out at Blab all day waiting for a broadcast to pop up, right? They don't hang out even looking at Paris. Now, I shouldn't say, some people do, clearly, but, they're not just sitting there looking at Periscope waiting for something of interest to pop up. They're over here on Facebook. Most people have Facebook running all day long, right? So the chances of you being found are much, much greater, and getting people to come in and watch, even if you haven't, scheduled it, like I did schedule this morning. And it's not like this room is overflowing with people, but no one knew when I was going to come on, because I just, it didn't work this morning. And I said, well, sometime today I will. And then I had to rework all that energy. You know what it is? When you walk around, you're going, okay, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do this thing. And then it doesn't work. It doesn't happen. And it's like, ugh. Built up, and I had to rebuild all that before I hit go at whatever time I did here tonight. Point is, you're here. You're here, and I can guarantee you if I was over at one of the other platforms, you probably wouldn't be here. And then the sharing opportunities. If you all share, then I show up all these other places, and that brings in potentially more people if it shows up on your timeline and if your friends see it. I'm just saying it hedges your bet. So if you want exposure, if you are a business, if you are a marketer of any kind, and you want to get your message out that way, and you really want to propagate it, there's lots of creative ways to do this. Like I could share this broadcast right now on any of the pages that I own. I could put it in the Bob Doyle Show page, which is what I've done. So this is actually streaming right now on my page over there, but I could put it on any page I have access to. I could go to any one of your timelines who are my friends and share this on your timeline, and it would show up on your timeline. So just think about that, the way that it can exponentially go. And now for me, one of the things I want to do on this show that I'm not doing yet, because it'll be obvious in a second when I tell you what it is interview people, bring people in, like real people with real messages. And then when they come on, I have them share with their group, hey, tell your group that you're going to be on here. So then that goes out. And then you've got all those people that you could potentially have share. So if you just think about what's possible over time, with consistency, what you can do, if that's important to you, if having the audience is important to you. All right, so that's just one reason to do it on Facebook. Oh, the other thing is that the people who are on my timeline, they know me already. With Periscope, it's like, well, there's a lot of it's so random. Now, I've made great friends, and some of them are here, and they watch this show, and they have supported it over on Blab and here and everywhere else through Periscope. So I'm not discounting the quality of the people or the relationships there, but they had to get to know me there. Whereas here on Facebook, a lot of people, they've been following me for a while. They already know I'm a weirdo because they're watching me post all my crap all the time. So it's no surprise to them that I'm, when they see me do the show and all the stuff. So that's so right away they go, oh, I know that guy. I'll go see his show. And over on my Law of Attraction page, for example, when I go over there and broadcast live, well, it's about the Law of Attraction. There's 20,000 people who are fans of that page, or have liked the page, or whatever the word is that they're doing now, who are all interested in the Law of Attraction. So I know when I broadcast there, when I talk about the Law of Attraction, I'm talking to the most targeted audience I could possibly imagine. So again, and I don't use that much for selling. It's a content, it's content when I do that on Wednesdays. But if there is something going on that I need to promote or tell the people about, I'll put it in there. But it's not like a pitch, right? It's just like I'm just talking. So think about that too when you establish that kind of connection and rapport with your audience. Boy, this has gotten serious. I knew it was going to, because I really wanted to talk about this personal broadcasting thing, because there's so many people who are scared of it or don't see how it can benefit them. So let's get out of the business part of it. Let's just talk about you as a human being. Sharing yourself. There has been, and I've said this on another broadcast, and but I don't think I've said it in the Bob Doyle Show. So or at least this way. Maybe I have, but it's a whole, like I'm looking at this as like a jump into a whole new network. It's really like I got a whole new broadcasting job, learning new equipment. Everything's new, everything's different. So I'm repeating this part of the message, I guess. But we tend to, society in general tends to look at people who share themselves, do selfies, put themselves out there a lot. They can create a negative interpretation of that. Say, oh, look at the ego, or it's all about them, or it's the narcissism. These are all things that people used to say about people who would Periscope all the time. But let's think about what's really going on. These are people who have found a way, myself included, with this, to finally share all aspects of themselves with someone other than themselves or the people that they live with. Not everybody has to like it, right? But you're putting yourself out there and you find the people who like it, and the people who don't like it, they go away or whatever. Hey, Sharon, I'm just saying hello. Stephen, yes, everything's working good. Kathy, first time watching live. Thanks for being here. Marie, I am a weirdo. I can prove it. I have documentation. All right. Thank you for sharing. And Vicky, so how do you build an audience by doing this? Get more followers? Well, again, you just ask. Like, clearly I'm asking. I'm asking you to share. I'm asking you to put this out on Twitter. I'm just saying, will you do this for me? I figure there's two ways I can look at this whole thing, this Bob Doyle show. And again, you guys are here early, so I don't mind. You guys are kind of like the inner circle. I promise you, one day, this is going to be a bigger thing. And you can scoff if you want. But here's the thing. This is my goal. This is my vision, to make this show something that's bigger than what it is right now. I want it to be the thing I do. And if it turns out to be one of these overnight sensations that took years to happen, that's fine with me. Like, I'm not attached to a time frame. But you always hear about, these people who burst on the scene. Where'd they come from? And then you find out later, wow, they worked their ass off for years when no one knew. But they kept doing it. They made mistakes. They bombed. They got people who didn't like them. They got whatever. They went through all of that because they loved it. Right? They loved it anyway, and then eventually everything came together. They did it enough, they honed their own skills, they met the right people, whatever. It's consistency. And that's what I'm committed to with this show. And trying everything. Absolutely every idea I have, no matter how much Lynn rolls her eyes at it. I'm kidding. Sort of. All right. Thank you for continuing to share on Twitter and saying that I rock. I got to come up with a better way, though, wouldn't it be great if we could figure out a way that you could click something and it would be a proper Twitter share and it would come right back to this broadcast? That would be awesome. Then you don't have to worry about links or anything like that. So we'll see what happens there. That'd be a nice little innovation. But anyway, my point is that, we as human beings, we crave connection. We want to connect with people. We need to connect with people. And yet, if we do it digitally, or whatever, use the technology that we have access to, sometimes it's like it's not good enough. Well, why don't you just go meet some real people? Well, you will. These are real people. You're just meeting them first digitally. Like when Periscope first came out, we only knew people through the phone. However, the first time there was a Periscope meetup here in LA, it was like we were old friends. Everybody just came together and we knew each other. These are real relationships. So that whole conversation around it not being real human interaction, all that, it's just crap. It's just where we are in technology today. We can connect with more. If there weren't this technology, the secret never would have happened for me, right? And I wouldn't know hundreds and hundreds of people, real live people that I can have real live conversations with. And the more I share myself in this way, as obnoxious as it may occur to some people, the more reach I have, the more connections I get, the more genuine, fulfilling connections with people and opportunities I create for myself. And that would be the case for you. So it's so easy to judge what people ahead of time, what you think other people are going to think about you. They won't like me, or what if they don't like me? Good. Find the ones who don't. That's exactly what I'm in the process of doing right now. By doing the Bob Doyle show exactly how it comes out. Like, I get off the show and I go, well, that one wasn't really funny. It was just kind of whatever. But I go, but that's what it was that day. So that's what it was that day, and the next day it may just be complete craziness. the unpredictability of this particular show is part of it. It's unpredictable to me. Most of it is pure riffing, with a little bit of an outline. I mean, I do have my mind map. But these are like bullet points for a PowerPoint presentation, right? Nothing scripted, clearly. So I'm just saying that, genuine expression of what you're interested in. That's what made Periscope so beautiful, guys. I mean, you got to peer into lives of people doing their thing and being who they really are. And if you don't like the person, or if they occur as arrogant to you or narcissistic, then just don't watch them. There's plenty of other people who you probably will resonate with. So it's not about being liked by everybody or liking everybody you see. We have such an amazing opportunity with all this personal broadcasting stuff, and especially now that it's on Facebook with how everybody's so connected. Relationships can change for the better. This does not have to be oh, now people are going to get even more. No, they're not. Shut up. When I was raising my small children, like shut up was like almost the worst word you could say to somebody. Even though I grew up saying it very loudly to my sister. But now it just sounds harsh. Like, the term dadgummit, right? Dadgummit. Well, that's a totally harmless, it's nonsense, right? It's been around for ever. But when I was little, that's, my dad would say, this is my memory, my dad would say it when he was clearly really mad and wanted to say something else. So for me as a kid, it had that same, ugh! So for years when I heard dadgummit, it made me, it was as if somebody said the F word in church, So it's just funny how we get programmed. I'm sorry, that wasn't the topic. I thought dadgummit was the topic today. I apologize. That's next week's show. All right, so I guess that's really what I'm saying, is to investigate this for yourself. Because once you get past the initial nerves and all that other stuff, all the scary stuff, it can really change your life. Because I have to say that even though it wasn't personal broadcasting, when I first got on the internet, I put myself out there. Marie will tell you that, because she was there kind of at the beginning of when I really started to put myself out there on the internet. And all of my, everything that is awesome, well, so much of what is awesome has happened as a result of my putting myself out there and being genuine. Again, the secret, clearly probably my biggest resume item up until this show, happened only because I was following my passion about the law of attraction and putting it out there, in the form of my programs and stuff like that. I wasn't doing any personal broadcasting. I wasn't even out there speaking. I was doing interviews and stuff, but I was just following my passion for the law of attraction, and that happened. That's how it works from a law of attraction point of view, by the way. Because I wasn't attached to any specific, there was no way I would have ever thought that The Secret would have happened like my vision would be realized because of a movie. I just knew what my vision was, is to teach this and love it. Flight Waves, Marie just mentioned Flight Waves. That was my very first personal development product. Yes, I am from the South. What did I say? I missed it. Oh, dadgummit, right. Yeah, clearly a Southern colloquialism. But so following my passion got me there. And that's exactly I'm taking the exact same approach to this. And you know what? Before The Secret, I was into physique transformation. Again, that's how I met Marie. Whatever notoriety or name I got or recognizability or whatever you would call what I had back then in those days with the Body Changers site, it was because I was just following my passion for fitness, and it just unfolded that way. And that led me to having sort of an audience or whatever, a tribe of people who knew, like, and trusted me. So then when I moved over to the law of attraction conversation, a lot of them followed. Just naturally. I didn't have to start from scratch. Just like now. I mean, I'm starting a whole new thing with the Bob Doyle Show. It's sloppy, it's not polished, it's all over the place, it's all of those things. And I've got a handful of people who are willing to take that ride with me. While I continue just to do it and play out and make as many connections as I can, but I'm not attached to how quickly it has to happen. And I promise you, that's going to make it happen faster. Because I'm doing this with abandon. Or without it, whatever the proper word. I'm just doing it. I'm looking, when I look over here, by the way, I'm looking at the Twitter feed to see if there's anybody else's comments I need to include. Isn't this fun? This is so fun to me. I always loved going to events where they had the big screen and, you could tweet and then you see it up on the screen and people want to tweet because of that, right? So that's why I'm inviting you to do this, because you get to see your name in lights, right? You validated many people and they took flight. Oh, on the Body Changer site? Yeah. But I didn't mean to. I mean, I did, but it wasn't my intention. Truly, when I started Body Changers, it was for me. When I started Wealth Beyond Reason, it was so that I would deepen that's the Law of Attraction program that started this whole thing for me. It was to help me get deeper into the Law of Attraction conversation, and now this. And so I am digging into this, and I love personal broadcasting. I'm a huge advocate for it. I've made a lot of connections already, in this. And so I think that things will happen a lot faster for me because I'm just going full out and doing it. And that's what I am inviting all of you to do. Instead of second guessing everything and worrying about what other people are going to say, is just get yourself out there, because people crave authenticity like you wouldn't believe, even though some people say, don't use that word, it's overused. That's the word. Sorry, the true you, if authenticity offends you. But people crave that, right? So put it out there and be ready for people who don't really appreciate it, and then the people who love it, right? And slowly but surely you'll gain that tribe, and as you gain momentum, it'll exponentially grow as you teach them to share what you're up to with other people. So that's how it happens. So right now, let's see, I'm 47 minutes into this show. I got 16 people, okay? Sure, I'd like to have more, but it doesn't really matter. We've got people who will watch the replay. It's late. It's a later thing. None of my UK audience can watch live right now. It's the middle of the night for them. So I knew coming in this late was going to exclude some people or whatever. And also this was a huge freaking test because it was my first premiere. Well, it was the second take of my premiere here on Facebook Live, and it worked just fine. So I had something else I wanted to do. There's two other things I wanted to do, but I've talked for so long, I think I'm only going to do one of them, and I'm going to wait on the other one for the next time. Sorry, I didn't know I was going to yammer on so long, but I clearly did. But this was pretty much the introduction to me in the show and why I do this show and why I'd love to see every single one of you do your own version of a show and get out there and put yourself out there, because it really is. I've seen people who, like when Periscope first came out, and they were so uncomfortable when they first did it, and now they're freaking Periscope superstars because they gained that level of confidence. So push broadcast. That's like the mantra that you hear people saying all the time. Just push broadcast. All right, a couple of things about, it's hard to get back into the goofiness after I get so right down that lane. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Instead of doing, no, I can't do that right now. I've talked myself into a corner. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do one of the regular features of the Bob Doyle Show is a little something we like to call App-tacular. It looks like this. And what it is where I share an app. Now why is that happening? The show wanted to start again. All right, so now I gotta get rid of this. See, I need a producer, but I am my producer. So where's my phone? Okay, so here's how this works. I love collecting apps, and I love sharing apps, and I've always wanted to do like an app review type show. So instead of doing a whole show, I just include it here. Are we ready to find out about an app? Oh, look at that. Somebody, Dynamite again, has been added to the queue. He's going to win the award for the number of Twitter appearances. Hey, Gary Moon has joined us too. Thank you, Gary. Or at least he liked or loved us. He did something. He played along. So now I have to do a little technical something to get my phone up here on the screen. Very transparent show. I hope you realize that. Did I take myself off Wi-Fi? I sure did. That's not going to work at all. Always share your stuff. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Contact lenses. Yeah. Well, while this is waiting, did you guys see that post about? It's on my. It's right down under here on the timeline about the contact lenses that record video. It's interesting. Some of the comments are like, "Well, our brain already does that," but come on, we know what we're talking about here. We're talking about recording that could be used later. I mean, yeah, you can remember stuff, and yes, your brain remembers all that. That's we get that, but that's not really the point. To not know when you're being videotaped, someone who's just like looking at you. I mean, I know that can happen already with spy pens and stuff like that, but let's face facts. Let's say you weren't wearing any clothes. Let's say you were in that kind of a situation, and yet somebody was. I'm a big Gee Whiz technology fan for sure. I love stuff like that, but that one makes me a little bit. I don't know. That one's a little bit different for me. All right, let's get back into it here. All right, so folks, today I'm going to share an app with you that has been a secret weapon for me for a long time, like years, in terms of photography. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Now, so and this because I post pictures on Facebook all the time. And there's a certain app I use that does something that people always go, wow, how did you do that? Right? Which is what I love. I love making people say, how'd you do that? And so today, the app that we're going to be looking at is an app, I got to move over, is an app called Big Lens. And I will go ahead and put if I can find the comment section, I will put this on here right now. I am taking too long to do this. Yeah, Big Lens. All right, that will take you right to the App Store. It is 99 cents. I'm telling you that right now. What this app allows you to do is create depth of field using your iPhone and apply some really nice images. So, where, like in this example here, they've got the girl, and if I was to go through this, well, I'll just do it. I'm going to click the Advanced button right here. I'm going to draw over this girl. I'm just going to do this real quick. I'm just doing this with my finger, see? And then I'm going to click, I just did that sloppy, and then it's going to crash because I'm doing a show. That's how that's going to work. All right, now what? Well, now you get to see the screen pop up again. All right, we're going to do this again, just real quick. And then I'm going to do it slower for you in a second. Now you can see now that the background there is blurrier than it was before. So now let's go through that slow with a picture that I took, which is a great example of how this will work. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to click the camera icon, and it's going to ask me, do you want to erase all this incredible work you just demonstrated? And yes, I do. I'm going to load photo, and you're going to see all the crazy photos that I've got here. I'm going to go straight to this one. Spoiler alert, you just saw the finished image. Okay, so now what we're going to do, now here's a picture of a teddy bear, Lynn's favorite little teddy bear, and Cody in the background, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this app to create a depth of field effect using the focusing in on the bear, and then I'm going to apply a filter to it, and I'm going to show you how all this stuff works. But I promise you guys, you want this app. It makes your pictures just look so unbelievably professional. Now there are two modes here. You see basic and advanced. Basic, all you can do is like create circles and do a general area. I'm not even gonna, and you can see it works. I circled the area here, and Cody got a little bit. He's blurry, but the bed is still sharp. Anyway, I like the precision of the advanced because now you can actually, be very precise, and you can change the brush size. So if I start like this and I tap the brush, I can move back and forth like that to change the brush size, because you really do want to be as precise. And I can zoom in here so I can be a little bit more precise, but it's okay if you go a little bit outside the edges, and you can clean it up afterward. So in this case, what I'm going to do is actually also focus in on that front part, because it wouldn't make sense logically that the bear would be it would be a very specific lens to just get his face and not I'm over explaining. All right, so now I've clicked next, and you can see now he's sharp and Cody is a little bit more blurry. Now along the bottom here you have aperture, filter, lens, focus, blur, and compare. So if you hold down compare, it's a before and after. So now if I click down, you see Cody's sharp again, right? Okay, so now the aperture basically simulates lens sizes and f-stops. So the amount of light that comes in, which affects, I'm not going to get too deep into the photography stuff of this, but basically as you go from left to right, it's going to get more blurry, and you can adjust, like there, see right there, that's just way too much. Like that's the highest, well, it's the lowest f-stop with the highest amount of blur, and that's too much. So what I actually like to do is do the lowest one and take it down about halfway, and that seems to do a pretty good job. Okay, I'm glad you all are still happy. No, Lynn doesn't collect stuffed animals. She has that one. But you know what? If she did, mind your own business. Okay, so that's the focus. That's how you affect the focus. The next one, my favorite, is filter. Now, I almost always use the exact same filter because it does such a, I'm sorry, trying to stay in the frame here. Because it does such a great job. Okay? Who said it was too much? Yes, I'd rather see Cody more too. Well, I know, but and I was going to do two versions of this, but it turns out that the original picture, he's not as in focus as I'd like, so it doesn't work that well. All right, so now you've got things like original, Lomo, flare, warm. I'm just scrolling through, vivid, gray background, Lomo 2, Lomo 3. I'll pop through some of these. This is my favorite one though. It's the very first effect, Lomo 1, and it puts this wonderfully deep sort of orange. And I'm going to actually I'm going to zoom in on this image. Because I can, I think. Hold on, I'm gonna try. Oh, actually, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna move over here, and then, oh shoot. Sorry, I made a mistake for myself here, but now, oh geez, my mouse is going crazy. Thanks for being patient. You guys are awesome. Just hold on. This is for your benefit. How about that? How cool is that? It zoomed in, just so you can have a little bit closer look. So now you can see that so let me do the before and after again. So I'm going to hit compare. So that's, whoops, there's before and after, before, after. Now let me just scroll through a few of the other filters where you can see. Now here's like a lens, let me get rid of the thing there. Like a lens flare effect. Let's see, oh boy, come on, warm. This one, the gray background, it makes everything black and white except for what you've selected. So you want to be careful about how you do that one. Different variations of the Lomo. Okay, some very dark, flare, cold, red, blue, green, right? So some of these I don't find to be that practical. Now this is kind of an interesting effect, right? It just darkens the background and blurs it. But again, when you see these pictures like on a Facebook timeline, you really think they were professionally done by someone because of that depth of field. And so, you know, it's just something that so let me see if there's one more thing. Oh, so I was going to show you this too, but I'm going to have to, before I go back to my other screen, I have to fix what I screwed up. So just bear with me. Oh, this is a tricky, this is the resize of these things. I know you don't know what I'm talking about, but there we go. All right, so if you make a mistake, for example, like part of this is like the part of the bear's ear seems a little bit blurry, I can click on the focus icon and draw again right there. And if it's at all possible to bring it back into focus, it will. Or I can, if I decide, no, I want this part blurred out, I can choose the blur icon and see, then it adds it back to the blur. I'm sorry, yeah, into the blur, and then I can take it back out by clicking focus. So you can do all kinds of adjustment afterward. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what Apptacular is all about, sharing with you the most amazing apps. So bobdoyleshow.com/big lens. And then you too can download that app and amaze your friends and family with the incredible pictures that you will take. That was obnoxious too. All right, now I've got about 18,000 windows in front of you guys. So here we go. Is Cody part Papillon? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. We don't know what the rest of him is, but that's what we know for sure is he is part Papillon. And we think maybe some Chihuahua and love. Papillon mixed with love is our standard answer for that. Okay. The contact that records are too intrusive, not this. Okay, I'm missing some stuff. Thanks for the info. Great for creating book covers. Just wonderful photography that you can use for any purpose. Absolutely. So I want to tell you guys because I know. So we're going to call this the commercial. Okay, we're going to call this the commercial that comes near the end of the program. And I'm going to go back to my browser now, which has disappeared, but I can fix that. Bing, it's back. And we're going to go to bobdoylevoice.com. Why am I going here? Well, because you see, some of you may know that I also teach voiceover. I do voiceover, but I also teach voiceover. And I'm starting a class I have a class that starts in 2 days. And I did a whole, and I'm not going to talk too much about this because if you're interested, you can just scroll down my timeline a little bit and check out the voiceover coaching broadcast that I did the other day. But it's basically about how you can start generating revenue for yourself, a good income, doing voiceover work on Fiverr. And before you start going, actually, if you go to bobdoyleshow.com, which is what this page is, not Bob Doyle Show, sorry, bobdoylevoice.com, this video right here is the broadcast from yesterday, which I did on Facebook Live. So for those of you who are trainers or teachers or whatever and want to think about how you might use this platform for doing something like this, you might want to take a look at this and see how that was done and presented. Because for me, I think it's a really effective way to communicate exactly how this works. I was able to walk you through the entire Fiverr interface, how I get the jobs. I got to show you how I do the jobs, including the editing and the delivery, how much money has been generated. Very, very transparent. And so if it's something that you're interested in, it's an opportunity for you who have been sort of interested in voiceover maybe, or been told you have a great voice, which is, I know, a lot of people. To get to pee during the commercial. No, Dawn. Well, yes, you do. You actually do, Dawn, because you've heard this 8 million times. Dawn is probably my most loyal viewer to date. We'll see. All of you could be falling into that category if you commit to being the most loyal listener. Anyway, so if that's something that's called to you, you don't need any experience to take my course assumes no experience. If you've got some voiceover experience, awesome. If you don't, that's great, because I teach you not only how to do the whole Fiverr thing, how to set up your gigs, everything you need to know about Fiverr. I also teach, the class is mostly voiceover coaching after that, where we actually all meet together and we do group voiceover coaching. I help you find your voice, your script, the kind of read that will work for you, and help you get your demo tape together and the whole thing. And I've already got people from the last class making money over on Fiverr, like as soon as like right when they started. So it can be that simple. And again, this guy had no experience. Okay. So just want you to be clear on that. So that's the end of the commercial. I'd love for you to go over to Bob Doyle Voice if you wanna. I'll go ahead and type it into the comments here because I can. Boom. And you can check that out in your own time if you would like. All right, let's get back to the studio here. Ladies and gentlemen, I have gone on for so much longer than I thought I was going to. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the show to a close. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching The Bob Doyle Show, and we hope that you will tell your friends and family and all of your loved ones and anyone who may follow you on any sort of social media all about this incredible show, and particularly I A to Go Stromboli, which I totally forgot to talk about. We have a game around our titles here on this show. Every title is connected in some way, and if you can tell me, if whoever can tell me how it's connected, well, you'll win the prize, and then I change what my titles are for a new connection. So thank you very much for being here for this, still again a different version of the Bob Doyle Show, but it was awesome having you here, and I will see you again next time.